Hi Fast Track Property friends, this channel is all about us transforming your life and improving your destination. Today, we're going to speak about HDB, the largest developer in Singapore and the asset class that most Singaporeans own or start off with. I'm going to break this video into three parts. Firstly, the grants that you can enjoy either with a BTO or resale HDB property. This part is going to be a quick recap because all of this information can be found online on the HDB website. The second part would be the good, the bad, some practical advice, the considerations and strategies that you could either implement or perhaps at least discuss with your partner before making that commitment. And lastly, some scenarios that you could draw some insights from and towards your decision making, alright? And guys, do note that I am focusing on couples only, alright? So there are other conditions and grants available for extended families and singles, therefore do read up on your own. So let's start. What are the grants available for Singaporeans and SPRs? For the BTOs, you're only given the EHG or Enhanced Housing Grant, right? And to be eligible, your household income should not be more than $9,000 a month. And you can receive anything from $5,000 to $80,000 depending on your combined income bracket. And that is all you will get, right? And for the resale HDB properties, you'll be given three types of grants. The first one will be your first timer grant. To be eligible, your household income should not be more than $14,000 a month. And you'll receive 50K for a 2-room flat to a 4-room flat and 40K for a 5-room or bigger flat, right? Number two, you get to enjoy the same enhanced housing grant like those apply for BTOs. And this is and the third one will be special, and that will be a proximity housing grant or PHG for short. You get $20,000. There is no income ceiling to this, so all you can do is just apply for it, and you have to buy a flat within 4 kilometers from your parents, alright? For our SPR friends, you do not qualify for these grants, alright? But for the rest of you with one partner as an SPR, you will get $10,000 lower, right? But you'll be able to get this top up once either your partner becomes a Singaporean or if you have a Singaporean child. Okay, so well, this covers your housing grants, right? So before I kick off the next part, I really appreciate you to click on the like button and the subscribe button, and this will help the channel out tremendously. And as a way of thanking you, this is a cute video of my younger girl, Claudia, playing at the former Big Splash, now called Coastal Playgroup. Hope you enjoyed that. Let us look at some examples of opportunity cost and what you could consider. Firstly, if you decide to buy a BTO, your trade-off here is time. Though this asset will appreciate perhaps 150 to 250K in profits, it will take you 10 years, right? The time needed to get your keys and then another 5 years for your minimum occupation period or MOP. Therefore, some pointers for you to consider here is, do you intend to expand your property portfolio after that, or is that it? Okay? And if you intend to own another property while holding on to this HDB, then buy it under one ownership right from the start. And after your MOP, you buy another property and own 2 residential properties, right? And you will not be penalized in any way. But of course, not all is as rosy because at times, one person's CPF is not enough for the down payment, or perhaps also not eligible to make up for the shortfall of the loan, isn't it? Therefore, you have no choice but to buy under 2 names. But does that mean you're going to lose out? Yes, perhaps a little. Then so be it. Correct? Select the right property, design, renovate, and plan your financing properly, all towards putting up that property for sale in future. Okay? And for the SPRs, buying a HDB, do note that you still have to pay the ABSD of 5%. And 2 other things for you to take note here is that, firstly, as long as you remain an SPR, you are not eligible to rent out your whole unit. Okay? The only way you're able to monetize your HDB is renting out your bedrooms. Alright? And secondly, if you intend to buy a private property, or if you do not intend to renew your SPR in future, you have to sell away your HDB. You cannot keep it. Therefore, for our SPR friends, as far as possible, if you're able to get your hands on a private property, that would be awesome because you can rent it out, right? And in the event you decide to give up your PR-ship, it does not matter because this private property is still yours forever. You can continue to enjoy its capital appreciation and passive rental income. Alright? And next, before buying any resale properties, do check on ethnicity. Because of Singapore's multiracial harmony, there is a quota to follow for a particular block or neighborhood, right? And adding on to this is another restriction called citizenship, where there is a balance of ratio between the Aussies and Malaysians SPR and non-Malaysian SPR. Hence, there are some places such as Pine Close where there has been restrictions for a while, right? This is an example. Therefore, do not get too excited when you manage to get an amazing price for the area, because the whole reason was that the seller had no choice and had to either had the property in the market for a very long time with no offers and had to sell it out cheaply just to get rid of it. So can you imagine if you're in that position, needing to put off your property expansion on hold just because it took you more than 2 years to sell? So do keep an eye on this, okay? And finally, before we head into the examples, if you're inspired to own multiple private properties in Singapore, the truth is this. Plan how you're going to buy your second property before even looking to buy your first. Alright? Does this make sense to you? Okay, now let's take a look at some practical examples. So for this example, I will have a few assumptions. Firstly, the income will be at 4,000, age 30 years old, 35 years old, 5K, and 40 years old, $6,000. And we're also assuming that now combined is $8,000, right? 4K each. Based on a 4K income, they're able to get $264,000 in terms of their loan eligibility. Okay, so let me just go through the route of the head of BTO first. For BTO, they're able to get grants under the EHG based on an 8K household income. Even you're buying under one name, yeah, you're able to get $15,000. Okay, now for a 30-year-old at that time with an income of 4K, your OA should have been around $60,000 that you can use. Alright, so the budget then at the time will be around $339,000. Okay, but bear in mind that for BTOs, if you're in this category, right, this couple can always qualify for a higher loan before you collect your keys. Therefore, having a budget of 339 will not be correct, right? In the next 4 to 5 years, your OA is able to accumulate additional $50,000, all right? And if your income increases to 5K 5 years later, you're able to reassess your loan again, all right? Does it make sense so far? So at that time, if your income is 5,000, this loan will have then changed to $330,000. And if you add that up, this plus a total of 110, your real budget is $455,000. Okay, meaning to say that you are able to actually pick a BTO up to 455 today. Okay, therefore now it is when the exciting thing will happen. 5 years later, you will be 35 years old and collecting your keys. So this is a time when both of you need to start to discuss and plan if this HDB is going to be a home for the longer term or to be rented out upon your MOP. Therefore, your renovations should be planned out accordingly. And during this period of time, 4 to 5 years, while waiting for your keys, you should have also saved enough money for your renovations, isn't it? Therefore, there should not be a need to take on a renovation loan, correct? Alright? So now, how can this couple then plan on owning their second property? And would it not be amazing to be able to get it upon their MOP? Right? At this time, their income will have increased to $5,000. Okay? And at a time, if you would make $10,000, after your deductions to the CPF, they will get back $8,000. And I'll expect them to be able to save 40% of their income. Okay, and this will then translate to be about $3,200 a month. And for the next 5 years, it will be equals to $192,000. All right, and if you were to use the real estate hack strategy, this will give you an additional $800 a month. That will then translate to $48,000 in 5 years, bringing your total cash savings of $240K. Are you following so far? So in another 5 years, you have been 40 years old now after your MOP and now drawing an income of $6,000, correct? So how much were you able to borrow at the time? With a 6K income, your loan will be $719,000. Okay? And in these 5 years, guys, if you intend to own a car, please buy it under the name of the HDB owner, alright? because you want to free up all those debt from the person that is going to buy the private property, so you can maximize the TDSR. Okay, now how much would this how much would this person's CPF be at the time? Remember, this person has not touched a single cent of the CPF, and therefore the CPF will have been compounding a lot of interest during the past many years, right? Accumulating from a salary of 4K, and then to 5K, and then now to $6,000. Therefore, his CPF in the OA would have been around $200,000. Okay? And with the cash accumulated of 240K, you are looking at a budget of 1.125 million. Voila, there you have it, right? So this route is also possible for a BTO. Now let's take a look at the resale couple, right? If you are this couple who you cannot wait for a BTO to arrive, wait for 4 to 5 years, and you have to really enter the resale market, let's see how this pans out, right? Everything being the same, the difference would be your grants. As a resale purchaser, you're able to get a 50K grant, right? As a first timer, if you're getting a 4-room flat, plus your EHG of $15,000 and near parents of $20,000. Alright, I mean, assume that you're buying near your parents, right? So total grants would be $85,000. For this couple, it will be the same. OA at the time will be $60,000. Okay, if you add 264 plus 85 plus 60, you will actually arrive at 409K. Right? I'm going to assume at this point in time that they have some cash savings of 30 to 50K. Alright? Cash about 30 to 50K. Therefore, perhaps the budget is around $450,000. So they should be working around this type of budget to get their property. Alright? So guys, if you are falling in this category, your journey will be very different from the couple that is buying a BTO, right? You will need to sacrifice a little bit more, right? Because unlike them, you do not have the next 4 to 5 years while waiting for a BTO to save up some more cash, right? So therefore, most probably, you will be taking up a renovation loan. Meaning that if you want to be in the same position as the first couple in terms of a cash savings of 192, right? You will need to exercise more delayed gratification. Does this make sense? So let's just assume that you're able to do that, right? At age 35 now, your income will have been $5,000. All right? And your numbers will be as follows. Now, the person that didn't get the property, the CPF will have also accumulated to about 150K. All right? And based on the 5K income, the loan that this person is able to get is only about $668,000. And with cash, you have a cash here, right? Of the same 240K. Their budget for the private property will arrive at about 1.03 million. Okay? So it is also possible, right? You can also leave the Singapore dream and purchase a second property, right? But there's another difference that this couple has compared to the first, and that is that by age 40, this investment property would have gone up, they would have cashed out, and now gone into the market a second time at age 40, right? And they're able to take advantage of the additional 5 years that they have. Okay? So, guys, this is a lot of numbers, and I hope I've managed to explain all of this in a way that is clear and easy for you to understand, so that all of you will be able to make a better decision for you and your family. Right? Thank you for watching. My name is Darren. Speak to you soon.